Hello dear students, welcome back to the NCERT Science class of 10th standard. Dear students, in the previous class we have studied about the reproduction in human being. The reproduction, that is sexual type of reproduction, is going on in the human. Dear students, in the previous class we have studied for the reproduction in human, it needs the three main components. The first one is the maturity or puberty. We can see both, it occurs both in male and female. The next, the reproductive organs, in case of male penis and in case of female the vagina. Next, the reproductive cells are necessary. See, for the reproduction in human beings, three main components are essential. The first one is maturity. Before the maturity, an individual can't reproduce. Yes, for reproduction, an individual needs the maturity. The second one, reproductive organs. The third one is reproductive cells or the germ cells. These are the three main important components of the reproduction. If anyone is absent, then no reproduction happens. There will be no any reproduction. Yes. Next, dear students, in the previous class we have studied the maturity, about the maturity or the changes during the maturity that we have studied, or the reproductive phase, both in male and female we have studied separately. In case of male, what are the changes which occurs at the puberty? Puberty, we know that the changes occurs in the living organism, or the stage where an individual is able to reproduce. That change is called, or that stage is called as the puberty. The stage in the life of an individual on which an individual is able to reproduce, that stage is called as the puberty. Next, dear students, in the puberty we are seeing the different changes in commonly both in male and female, and we see the separately what are different changes in the male and different changes in the female that we have studied in the previous class. See, first what happens, the common changes. See what happens, body becomes enlarged and body becomes larger. The next what happens, see the hairs will grow on the underarms and the around the pubic areas. Next what happens, see common change that we have studied, that is commonly change, that is see body becomes thick hairs will be grow on the armpits and pubic areas. Next, the hairs will be grow on the arms, legs and hands. See, next what happens, the pimples may grow on the face, becomes oily when an individual reaches to the puberty. Yes. The next, dear students, after this one, the area around the genital organ, the area around the genital organs becomes darker. This is common changes which occurs both in male and female. Common changes that occurs in the both in male and female. The next, dear students, separate changes also we have studied in the male. See what happens, male, what happens, the muscles, body enlarge, that is common change. Muscles becomes contract hard. In case of females, muscles become soft. And in case of male, voice becomes cracker. In case of female, the voice becomes melodious. The next, after this one, in the male, the facial hairs will grow. In case of female, what happens, the breast will grow, or breasts will enlarge. The next what happens, on the male body the hairs will be grow on the chest, but in case of female that will not occur. Then what happens, in case of female, around the nipples will get larger, and next it becomes thicker, and next the area around the nipples becomes dark. Then after this one, in case of female, that is common, hairs will be grow and over the facial. And next what happens in the boys, during night dream and daydream, what happens, ejaculation occurs. The semen will ejaculate out through the penis. In case of female, what happens, every month the menstruation will occur. That is common different changes that we have studied in the previous class. Next, dear students, today we are going to study. Today we are going to start. Before going to start, that we have to see some points. That is, the changes of the puberty is not constant in all the individuals. See, we can say that the age of puberty in male it begins from 16, 15 to 16. Normally we are taking average rate that we are saying the age. In some boys, what happens? The maturity may begins very soon. In some, what happens? The maturity becomes very late. It means the maturity is not constant in all the individuals. See, in girls, maturation or the maturity starts at the age of 10, also 10 to 12. In case of some girls, what happens? The maturity may occur at the age of 20 also. See what happens here, dear students. The maturity or the sexual secondary character, the secondary characters are not constant for all the living organisms. Yes, it is not constant. Next, dear students, in all the organisms, the maturity is not constant. It depends on the environment. And next, the second one is the food that they are taking. The maturity is not constant for all the individuals. The maturity is not constant for all the individuals. It is different in different living organisms. The maturation time is different in different living organisms. And also, the maturity depends on the food. The second one, environment. The third one is heredity also. See the type of food that they are taking. If they are taking more nourishing food or the nutritive food, what happens? The maturity may begins very soon. Then, if the environment is totally supportive for the maturation, that also see what happens. The maturation may begins. And next, heredity is also third component for the maturation. See, heredity also that a major component for the reproduction or the maturity. Isn't it? Next, dear students. Maturation and the puberty is not enough for the reproduction. It also needs the special organs. Maturity is not only enough for the reproduction, it also needs the special organs for the reproduction or for the delivery, and next it needs the germ cells. Yes, the next, the delivery part between the one people to another people, what happens? The transformation of germ cell is going on from male to female in the womb and out. The transfer of the germ cell is going on, that needs a special organ that is called as the reproductive organs. Both in male and female it is necessary during the sexual reproduction. If maturity is not if maturity occurs, if they doesn't have the reproductive, then no use. See, along with the maturity, it needs germ cells also. It needs the reproductive organs. Reproductive organs during the with the help of reproductive organs, what happens? The transmission of the germ cells are going on. The transmission of germ cells from one body to the another body is going on by a special reproductive organs. Yes. The next after this one, they need a germ cells. Germ cells. The male germ cell that is called as the spore, and female germ cell is called as the egg, and they have to be delivered from one part to another part with the help of special organs. Yes, that we will see here. Next, dear students, we have studied the maturity of the changes in the previous class. Maturity are the changes in the both male and female that we have studied. Now we are going to study the reproductive parts. First, for the reproduction it needs maturity. Then second, it needs reproductive organs. Yes. Now we will see the reproductive organs. Both male and female reproductive organs are different. See, we will see here the male reproductive organ and female reproductive parts. Female reproductive organ we will see. We are having the chart. Male reproductive organ and female reproductive organs we are having. reproductive part and female reproductive part. A male reproductive part and here a female reproductive system is also here. Female reproductive system is also we are having. Male reproductive system is also having. Now male reproductive organ and here I am going to female reproductive organ. Male reproductive organ and second one is female reproductive organ. Yes, dear students, first male reproductive organs. See, for the male reproductive organs, it needs the two components of the male reproductive system consists of the two portions of the two components. The first one is organ which produces the germ cell. It needs the two organs of the two components. It needs the two components. The first one, organ which produces the germ cells. Germ cell. The second one is organ which delivers the germ cells. Organ which produces the germ cells. See, in case of male, two components are necessary. The first one is a organ which produces the germ cells. See, we know that for the reproduction it needs maturity. The second one is reproductive organs. The third one is germ cells. That is, germ cells are sperm in male and egg in female. Yes. For reproduction, both in male and female, it needs maturity. We have studied in the previous class the maturity. What are the changes of the maturity? What are the events which going on in the maturity that we have studied in the previous class? Next, reproductive organs. Today we are going to study the male reproductive. For the reproduction, it needs male reproductive organ, and here the female reproductive organ is there. For the reproduction, it needs male reproductive organ and female reproductive organs. Yes. Next, germ cells. Sperm, male produces the germ cells. That is called as the sperm. Male germ cells, it means in the sperm will produce in the male reproductive organs, and in case of female, the egg is produced. That we will see. See here what happens in case of see, later we study that about the germ cells and all. See about the reproductive organs. The reproductive organs, see, it consists of two organs. Maturity be old. Come to the second one, that is reproductive organs. The reproductive component of the reproductive organ for the reproduction, it needs the two components. The first one is organs which produces the germ cells. The second one is organ which delivers the germ cells. First one, the organs. See here in case of male, testes are there. They produce the germ cells. They are present in pair.
they are present in pair. The testes are there. They are two bulge-like structures. And the two spherical or the bulge-like structure which is present in the scrotum that we study. See testes, a pair of testes are there. They produce the germ cells. Here the pair of testes are there that will produce the germ cells. In case of female, the ovaries are there. Ovaries. See here, two ovaries are there. Two ovaries, they will produce the germ cells or egg, isn't it? See what happens? An organ which produces germ cells. The second one, the organ which delivers whatever the germ cell is produced, that has to be delivered to the penis. In the male, see, in case of delivery organs that we can say, that is the duct or pipe through which the sperm is moving and that will move through the penis. And next, in case of female, what happens? Whatever the germ cells are produced in the ovary, here two ovaries are there. Whatever the germ cells are produced in the ovary, that has to be delivered. That has to be delivered through the pipes. That is called as the fallopian tube. Fallopian tube and a uterus. In case of male, that is through the vas deferens. Here the vas deferens are there. These are the two vas deferens there cut transversely. See what happens? In the testes, germ cells are produced. Germ cells are produced. In case of ovary, the germ cell egg is produced. In case of testes, the germ cell sperm is produced in male. That will move through this pipe. That is called as the delivered pipe, and that will move with the help of penis and all. Penis also comes under the delivered organ. Here also the fallopian tube and uterus comes under the delivered tube. Yes, delivered organs. The organs which delivers the reproductive cells. Next, dear students, germ cells. Germ cells. About the germ cells. See here, dear students, reproductive organ we will see later. The reproductive organ in male, first reproductive organ in male consists of a pair of testes, a ball-like structure, a pair of ball-like structure which is present outside the body in the black bag-like structure that is called as the scrotum. Just below the penis, in the scrotum, the testes are present. Yes, the testes, these are the gonads, male gonads present in the male, and it is present outside the body, and it is present in a sac-like structure or a bag-like structure. That bag-like structure is called as the scrotum. Yes, why it is outside the body? In examination he asks, because it needs very less temperature compared to the body. Means here in the scrotum what happens, or in the testis needs very less temperature compared to the body. What happens? They need 4 degrees less temperature than the body temperature. See what happens in the scrotum? That's why it is present outside the body. Just below the penis, it is present outside the body. It is present in pairs. See, it produces the sperms. Yes. Next, dear students, the testis produces the germ cells. Testis produce the germ cells. Here testis are given. Testis are given. Here testis. The testis produces the germ cells. The germ cells, it located outside the abdominal cavity. Outside the abdominal cavity. Next, in the scrotum, because the sperm formation requires a lower temperature than the body temperature, the testis also secretes the hormone testosterone that you have studied in 8th standard. Testis secretes the testosterone hormone which brings the secondary sexual characters, or which brings the maturity in male. Mustache will develop, means facial hairs will grow due to the testosterone. The testosterone secreted by the testis, which brings the secondary sexual characters in male. Facial hairs, the hairs under arms, on the body hairs. Yes, voice crack. These are the different changes occurs in the male at maturity. That all these changes, it is due to the testosterone hormone which is secreted from the testis. Along with the testosterone, the testis secretes the spore, which is a germ cell. The spore. Yes, the spore, which is having a head. head part. Inside what happens? Nucleus is present that contains the chromosomal material. This one is the structure of male sperm. Male sperm. Isn't it? Male germ cell. These germ cells, minute microscopic germ cell that is produced in the testis, that will move with the help of a sperm duct, or that is called as the vas deferens also. Sperm duct that will move, and then again it will come through this pipe to the penis, and that will move out from the male body and it will enter into the female body. Yes, germ cell that will produce. See, testis produce the sperms, male sex cell that will produce in the testis, that will be derived with a part of vas deferens and the penis into the female reproductive organ. See, next what happens, dear students? The delivered parts, germ cells that you have here, germ cells, the delivered parts, like see the space, here it contains a pair of the part which carries the germ cells. The parts which carry the germ cells, here this part which carries the germ cells are called as the delivered part. The next, that also called as the vas deferens. Yes. The next, dear students, vas deferens are pipe-like structures which is connected in between the testis and the penis. Yes. Next, dear students, to the vas deferens, the two more glands to the vas deferens tube. Two more glands are attached. Again, two more glands are attached to the vas deferens. Again, two more glands are attached. In what experience given to the testis, the vas deferens, not testis. Testis produces the testosterone hormone, which is mixed with the spore or semen. The mixture of the number of spore combines to form a semen. Then the semen is a fluid material that is secreted from the male. Fluid material that is secreted from the male, which is produced in the testis. And the semen which contains the sperm. Semen is a white fluid which contains the number of sperm. These semen becomes fluid due to the presence of two more glands, that is called as the seminal vesicles and prostate glands. Seminal vesicles and prostate glands are also present here in the way of vas deferens of the tube or the sperm duct. That inside the sperm duct of the tube, what happens? They secrete the liquid material that because of that only the semen, it is present in semi-solid form, that it becomes the liquid, due to which what happens? It starts to move. If the semen becomes liquid or the fluid, then it starts to move through this pipe. Yes. The next, dear students, the seminal vesicles makes the spore fluid, and next the spore, it is the male reproductive cells and all that will move through this penis and next enters into the female reproductive organ. Later we see. See, once again I will repeat here. In case of male, both in case of female, for the reproduction, it needs maturity that we have studied in the previous class. The next of this one, it needs reproductive organs. Both in male and female, they need reproductive organs. The reproductive organ consists, again in reproductive organs, again it contains two components. The first one is the organ which produces the reproductive cells or the germ cells. The second one, the organ which delivers. Here testis and ovary produce the reproductive cells, and fallopian tube and sperm duct that will deliver the reproductive cells. Yes, in case of reproductive duct or the reproductive producing cells, the organ which produces the cells, that is called as the testis. The testis produces the testosterone hormone, and also the semen. The semen contains the sperms. Number of millions of sperms are present in a media of the semen. The next, that will become fluid due to the secretion of two more liquid containing hormones, that is two more glands, that is called as the seminal vesicles and the prostate glands. Then it will move through the pipe, that is it needs the delivery organs. deliver organs. Here testis and ovary that produces the germ cells, and deliver organs, that is vas deferens and the fallopian tubes in female. These are the reproductive pipes. First you take the male reproductive organ, testis, reproduces the germ cells, and second one deliver organs 1 and 2. That is vas deferens and penis. These are the delivered tube. And next germ cells, that is spore is a male germ cell, that is spore, the structure of spore. Isn't it? Next come to the female reproductive organ. The female reproductive organ consists of a pair of ovaries, a pair of fallopian tubes, and a uterus and cervix and vagina. Yes, this is a female reproductive part. Yes, an examination he has write the different parts of female reproductive system. That is a pair of ovaries, pair of fallopian tubes, next uterus, cervix and vagina. These are the parts of female reproductive system. Next in male reproductive system, a pair of testes, pair of vas deferens. Next what happens? A penis. These are the male reproductive parts. Yes. Next, dear students, see what happens here in case of male. In case of male, what happens? The testis produces sperm like that. In female, ovaries produces the eggs alternatively every month, and every month what happens? The egg will produce in each ovary, and that will be moved through a fallopian tube, and that will move into the uterus or the mother womb, we can say, where the child gets or embryo gets developed. Then what happens? It will be developed if it is fertilized, and it will attach to the inner surface of the uterus, and it will turn to a new baby or the young one. Yes, in the concept of the fertilization, we will study. That is how the fertilization is going on, means how the fusion of male sex cell with the female sex cell, that is called as the egg. That is a female sex cell, that is a male sex cell, or male germ cell, that is called as the female germ cells. Male germ cell, and second one is female germ cell. Yes, that's all about these are the parts of male reproductive system and female reproductive system. The female, here the last structure they have given. See, it is a little bit tough to understand. See, here one ovary is there, here one ovary, and that is attached to the fallopian tubes are here. The fallopian tube, and this one is the mother uterus, and this one is that large structure that is called as the urinary bladder. Let us see, you have studied in excretory system, the urinary bladder that collects the urine, and here above the urinary bladder, see what happens here, a bag-like structure is there, that is called as the mother womb, and that will be opens to the cervix and vagina. Isn't it? That's about the parts of female reproductive system. Yes, these are the structures. In examination, he may ask, draw a table diagram of female and male reproductive system. That time you have to draw that. To draw the male reproductive system, it is a difficult task. You have to practice for this one. Male reproductive system, maybe he will ask, but not so important for the diagram purpose. In the male reproductive system is very difficult, but he may ask, unfortunately, he may ask. That's why be ready with the diagram. But in case of female, most of the time you ask the female reproductive system because it is very easy. Why? Because see what happens here, two pairs of fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes are connected. Simply we can draw. the inner lines fallopian tubes, they produce the eggs. Simply you can draw. It is a very easy diagram to draw the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system consists a pair of ovaries that produces the sperm and a pair of fallopian tubes that brings the germ cells or the egg through this pipe into the uterus. If it is fertilized there, and it will be attached to the inner wall and form a baby, young one here in the uterus, and that uterus will open. Mother uterus will open into the cervix. Then cervix will open into the vagina. The simple diagram that you can draw in the exams. Yes, that's all about the today's class. The remaining we will study in the next class.